So how would you assess midway point spring ball, how the offensive line is progressing in spring?
Good, good. I mean, obviously there's a ton we need to improve upon. We had a good year last year, not a great year, and we still have so much room to grow. And we have a lot of experience returning, which I think is a huge positive. Just because there's a lot of experience, we can work on we can move beyond base level. Oh, I'm sorry. Um, and we can move forward into some of those more advanced things to kind of try to take our game to the next level. So I think it's been good in that aspect. Just so much room for improvement. So
Kalani's always been big on every single day winning your job and getting the
yeah,
best level on the field. So much depth in the offensive line room. How is that competitive depth bringing out the best in you every single day?
it's huge. I mean, nothing's given. Everything is earned. Every rep. Every practice is evaluated by your coaches, and your reps are determined by that evaluation for the next day. So you kind of have to be on your A game all the time, or else you're gonna be passed up by somebody, and I think that brings out the best in everybody, including myself. Um, and so I think that's another advantage we have in our improvement is we're willing to push each other to be better, and I know I felt that especially from my teammates, and I know everybody in our whole position group has as well.
You mentioned last year how it was maybe good but not great. Does a lot of that feeling come with kind of how it ended and the
Sure,
monsoon game from the end of the season? Could you
sure,
talk about more of it?
sure. I mean, we obviously did not play as well as we could have in that last game of the year. We didn't go out the way we wanted to go, and that's very motivating. And even earlier on, even in some of the wins, we didn't play the way we knew we could play. And so that's been a huge focus for us this offseason is making sure we can get to that level of consistency to be a competitive team at the highest level all the time, no drop-offs. And that's something that we're really working towards, especially with a lot of experience returning, of eliminating all complacency because we don't deserve to be complacent after the season we had, especially after the way it ended. There's so much more to improve upon. There's so much we could have done better, and that's what we're focusing on, just putting our heads down and working. So,
The old line, like even the last couple of years, maybe even a little before you got there, it's kind of played a little chippy. Does that kind of help sort of grow the chip on your shoulder, I guess? A
sure.
little bit to
Yeah.
kind of play with that?
We've got something to prove. And I mean, last year it was how can you keep up the same productivity that the 2020 O-line had, and now this year it's well, your running back's gone. What are you going to do now? And so it's like we want to show people that we can elevate our game and that we can control the line of scrimmage all the time, and that takes a lot of work that we're going to have to do throughout this offseason and all summer long, just working as hard as we possibly can and not taking anything for granted for us to get to that level because we play some very good teams this year. And so we're going to have to be prepared week in and week out to do that. And I think that definitely gives us a chip on our shoulder. So.
Connor, you stepped in when I was talking to Keanu. What does it mean to have him back as part of the unit again?
It's awesome. I mean, Keanu, when I first got here, Keanu was coming off of his first injuries. And then he was able to come back for a little bit, and we were able to play together. And then he unfortunately got injured again. But now that he's back and healthy, it's just another level of experience for the offensive line. Nanu's started in big games. And so just having that experience to kind of add to the overall depth of the group, I think is huge. So.
He talked about his journey and both the physical journey and mentioned with the injury as well as the emotional journey. What does it do for a guy like that when they've been through a lot of tough things but chose to come back?
I mean, it brings a different level of appreciation. Nanu has spent the last 2 years mostly on the sidelines, just wanting to be out here with us more than anything. And so I think that that kind of causes him to not take anything for granted and just be appreciative of every practice that we have because it's short-lived. You think you have this long football career and it's not. It goes very fast. And so cherishing every day and working as hard as you can every day, I think that's something Nanu brings.
Does having his, just that element when you do go through your ups and downs, does that change the perspective a little bit? Because everybody has them. Having seen, hey, he's been through a lot of tough things. Does that change, kind of the perspective?
Yeah, sure. And I think that comes with any level of experience. The younger guys, when they hit their challenges, I think in my mind I'm still a younger guy too. This is only my second spring ball, and so, but I still look up to those older guys when I hit those challenges myself, and can kind of draw upon their experiences to kind of help us overcome them together as a unit. And that's one of the special things about O-line is 5 guys have to play together regardless of the situation, and so we can work through some of those challenges together.
Along with you, who have been some of the other guys that have taken snaps at the center spot in spring ball?
So it's mainly just been me and Joe Tukuwafu with the first group, and then we varied through a few different guys with the second group, but it's kind of just me and Joe kind of, if Joe comes in at center, then I play guard, and so it's mainly been us two right now.
How has that transition been for you? Because when you're coming out of high school, you're primarily an offensive tackle, and then slide in more as an interior lineman. Do you feel like it's been a fit for you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, for the first half of kind of my first season, I primarily played tackle in 2020, and then with the whole COVID situation, guys would get sick, and I ended up needing to fill in at a guard spot, and ended up doing well there and kind of stuck there. And then they asked me to start learning how to snap a little bit just to see if I could do it, and it ended up being a pretty natural fit. And so it kind of just stuck. And then the Boca Raton Bowl just kind of out of nowhere, only have maybe a month or two of 2 or 3 team snaps of practice, having to go in there and play center in a game. It kind of became real really fast, but was able to perform well enough for us to win there. And then it kind of stuck from there. And then last season I primarily played at right guard because I wanted to earn that starting job. And then once James went down, it was a pretty natural slide over there. So
you're still a young guy, as you noted, and you got years ahead of you where you'll be able to play in the Big 12 and contend for conference titles. But for this year, the last season in Independence, what are maybe some of the motivating things that have you guys excited going into the fall?
Well, I think with an independent schedule, you get an opportunity to play big teams from everywhere. Once we're in the Big 12, once we get into our division, we're going to know who we're playing every year. And there's a certain level of excitement that comes when we get to travel the country and play the best teams that we can find. Those first few games of the year are going from USF, then to Baylor here, up to Oregon, Arkansas later in the year, Liberty. We get an opportunity to play some of those great teams. And I think that's one of the things that has us most excited about our last year of independence is getting to play a lot of teams we otherwise wouldn't be able to play, and who we most likely won't be playing again once we're in the Big 12. So that definitely brings a certain level of excitement to play some really good, well-respected teams.
Do you and Blake and any of the other basketball guys ever try and jump on with the men's team? Hey, you guys need some help, right?
No, we purely play for recreation at this point. We all talk a big game, but we are all terrible at the end of the day compared to those guys. So it's just, as long as we can still dunk, we're happy. That's really all we do.
You still try to put Blake on a poster every now and then, right?
Blake? No. I don't think that would end very well for me.
Put you on a poster of his own?
Yes.
Who are the best hoopers on this football team? Blake, you? I mean, who are some of the best hoopers on the team?
Me. Definitely me. I'm at the top, for sure. No, I'm just kidding.
You'd just take Blake
I'm
outside,
just kidding.
wouldn't you? You wouldn't even go inside. Just make him guard you at the three-point line.
Yeah, I do. I like to shoot a little bit. But no, the best player, Jaren's good. Jaren's really good. Puka was good. Played at Orem. Jacob Conover's good. Both the Barrington brothers are good. Tyler Little played a little bit of basketball too.
What is it about these old linemen being good at basketball on this group? You guys are pretty athletic.
It's a different level of athlete, man. So
Peak male performance.
yes. So no, a lot of us played basketball in high school, actually, ironically, and I think it's. I mean, I don't know if there's a correlation. There probably is. I'm sure there's a lot of offensive linemen at the Division I level who played basketball just because it helps you become a better athlete. So I think specializing in high school is stupid. I think you should play as many sports as you want to play. It helps you get better at a lot of different things, and it's kind of how it happened for most of us. So.
Okay.
Any other questions? Good?
Thanks,
Alrighty.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
guys.
I'm going to quote you on that special